This is the day that the Lord and we are making. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to the Unity Center of New York City.
Broadcasting live from the heart of New York City, featuring new musical guests every week, with a message and meditation from Reverend Justin Epstein, your weekly destination for a wholesome message and meditation. Welcome to the Unity Center of New York City.
Down the countryside, underneath the lucky sky, whistling a foolish song, I've been walking madly on. Bought into it long ago, the story of the pot of gold, laid in my troubled sleep, haunted by another dream. Dreamer reached the end of the journey I've been on. All I finally find is a smiling leprechaun. So I ask a wee impatiently, tell me, have you seen a pot of gold? He says, have you seen the rainbow? Have you seen the colors gleam, shimmer on a silent sea? Have you seen the colors shine brightly in another's eyes? Have you seen a firefly? Have you seen a lark? Have you seen the light burning in your beating heart? Have you seen the way the morning glows? Have you seen the red and green and gold? Tell me, have you seen the rainbow? I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, up and down the countryside, you can see me hurry by, passing diamonds on the road, just to find a pot of gold. Dream that at the end of the journey I've been on, all I finally find is a smiling leprechaun. So I ask a wee impatiently, tell me, have you seen a pot of gold? He says, have you seen the rainbow? So I ask a wee impatiently, tell me, have you seen a pot of gold? He says, have you seen the rainbow? Hey! I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy, yeah. I'm a diddly-daddy, diddly-daddy.
Thank you, Peter Mayer. Good to have him back again this week. And also we have in just a little bit, Johanna Beekman. So they're our special soloists and musical guests today. And thank you for joining us today for our live stream. I'm Justin Epstein, the senior minister and author of the top-selling book, Super You. Today's message is Confident Under Pressure. We're going to talk about, how do you handle situations that cause pressure? So we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's do a little singing now with Johanna Beekman. We Are Sacred.
Hey, it's Johanna One Heart again. So glad we're here. This one's called We Are Sacred. It's brand new. Let's sing. We are sacred. We are holy. We are the ones to walk this land. This land is sacred. This land is holy. We are the ones to heal this land. We are sacred. We are holy. We are the ones.
Thank you, Johanna Beekman. That was awesome. We're the ones to heal the land. Doesn't that give us a sense of knowing that what we do makes a difference on the planet? That our choices every day make a difference? We're part of the healing, so we mustn't shortchange our purpose and value for being here on the planet. So thanks for reminding us of that, Johanna. Also, want to remind you to comment below. Please like us and comment below, and let's have that nice interaction that we love having. It's great to connect with you and our spiritual community and connect with one another. And also, when you do that, the more we interact, the more it boosts the search engine or whatever happens in internet world and gets our message out there. That's what I'm told. So let's do that. I am doing the community highlights this week. Next week, we're going to have our hosts back again. Another host will be here. And I just want to let you know that as far as online hosting, Debbie Mullinax, our operations manager, has been doing that now for a year or so. She is now working behind the scenes. We're getting ready for on September 12th, where we have people here in the sanctuary, and it'll be live. That's a reminder for you that we will be welcoming people back into the sanctuary on September 12th. As we get closer, we will give you more details and guidelines and all that. Debbie's keeping close eye on how those are changing and all that stuff. So we'll let you know more as we get close. But now she's working behind the scenes. I believe today she's hosting you online, but starting next week, she won't be. She'll be, she's been training them, and she's doing work behind the scenes, getting ready for opening. Okay, so I know a lot of you have enjoyed having Debbie greeting you and saying good morning and all that, and she still is aware of what's going on, but when we have people in the space, she's going to be busy conducting and being aware of what's going on here in the space. So just to give you a heads up, we will have hosts, but Debbie won't be doing the internet hosting unless one of them doesn't show up or something happens. Anyway, we are excited about moving forward. And again, check us out on Facebook and check us out on YouTube. And that's it for our community highlights today. So let's take a moment for our prosperity celebration. This is a time where we acknowledge Spirit as our source of all our good, that Spirit flows and expresses through many different channels, vehicles, and we participate in this giving activity, the spiritual principle, the spiritual law that works, that as we give, we receive in life. It's the way it works. We inhale and we exhale, and we inhale and we exhale. We give and we receive. We give and we receive. That's how it works. That's part of the universal laws that exist. So during this prosperity celebration, we center ourselves in these truths, God is my source, and in that spiritual principle of giving. And I invite you to consider the gift you'd like to give, the donation you'd like to make to support our work in continuing to bring you the best quality that we can of online services and to get this message out to as many people as we can so we can help them be the ones that can heal the land also. So I invite you to join me in blessing your gifts today, knowing divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you, Source. Amen. In just a moment, we're going to have a guided meditation, which is a time to relax the body and quiet the mind and tune in to that Spirit of God that we believe is in every person. It's not only in every person, it's expressing as every person. And the goal is to get in tune with that and to continue to make that journey of growth, to unfold and express, to know our spiritual nature, our spiritual being that we are. And so meditation helps us to get into that awareness, that watchfulness, so that we're in charge, we're aware, we're not going unconscious. We're not part of the pain of the land, we're part of the healing of the land. And that's a very important part that meditation can help us in. So we're going to lead into the meditation, as we do every week, with sort of a repetitive song to uplift our mind and our heart. So let's join Peter Mayer now for Breathe In.
This next piece is called Breathe In, and it was actually inspired by a moving meditation, a very simple moving meditation that I have sometimes done in the morning. So I would like to just show you the motions to the meditation, and you can join with me if you like, and or sing along if you like. So the motions go like this: hands open to the day, breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray, breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands branches catching rain, breathe in, breathe out. Then rising like a stalk of grain, breathe in, breathe out. To move my arm here. And then again, arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth, eyes lifted to the light, to the light. And then we start at the beginning, or end at the beginning. Hands open to the day, breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray, breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands branches catching rain. Breathe in, breathe out. Then rising like a stalk of grain. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky, then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
breathe out.
Thank you, Peter. That was beautiful. I invite you now to let's get still and quiet for a guided meditation. Let's take a nice, long, cleansing, deep breath. And as you exhale, just let your body relax. And we're going to consciously relax the body by just sending the message to each muscle, relax and let go. And as you get better at this, you'll be able to just bring your attention to that part of your body, and your body will just relax naturally, immediately. So right now, let's consciously just bring our attention to our feet and send the thought, relax, relax. Move your awareness to your calves. Relax, relax. Relax behind your knees. Relax your thighs. Allow the pelvic area to relax, the buttocks relax. Let your abdomen and stomach relax. Become aware of your hands. Let your hands be open, your fingers relaxed. Relaxing the forearms, the biceps, and the shoulders. Relaxing the back, the upper, the middle, the lower back. Relaxing the muscles in your chest. Letting go and relaxing. I let go and I relax. Become aware of your neck, relaxing the front, the back, the sides of your neck. Move your awareness into your jaw, relaxing your jaw, your cheeks, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your lips, your tongue, your forehead, and your scalp. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. Scanning your body now from the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet. And just noticing, is there still any place that's a little tight? Might want to just gently tense and release and let go and relax. And now we turn our awareness away from the body, and we begin to focus on our breathing. Just feel your breath as you breathe in. And feel the breath move through your nasal passages as you breathe out. Just observe your breathing like you're observing the waves flowing in from the ocean. Not controlling the breath, just observing it. And when your mind begins to think about other stuff, bring it back to watching the breathing. Not resisting your thoughts. Just noticing, okay, my mind's wandered, let me bring it back to the breathing. So let's do that now for about a minute. Just watch your breath flowing in and flowing out. Just take a nice, long, deep breath now. And just be present now to whatever feelings might be inside of you. And just be present to those feelings. Or if something else draws your attention within, focus your attention there. Rest in the stillness, in the quiet. And let us affirm for ourselves, I am centered and poised in the peace of God. I am centered and poised in the peace of God. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Together. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Let us put those two parts again together. I am centered and poised in the peace of God. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. Let those ideas sink into your subconscious mind. I am centered and poised in the peace of God. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And know that right now you are a radiant expression of that peace of God into the world. And that your loved ones and friends and family members are all uplifted by your consciousness of God's peace. And we see them and sense that each one is a perfect expression of God, that they are guided and protected in every way. We know and trust that each one is a spiritual being, and each one is whole and well and complete. And we remember those who have moved on to the other side of life, and we bless them on their journey, their spiritual journey, whether it's a mother, a father, a sibling, a friend, a grandparent, whoever it might be. We trust that each one is part of the eternality of life, and that their consciousness continues on in their eternal journey. And we bless them with peace and love and light. And now I invite you we're going to make our hands instruments for healing energy. I invite you to rub the palms of your hands together. And we're going to hold the palms up, and we're going to chant that sacred sound of Om 3 times, and we're going to feel the energy flowing through us to friends, to family, to all people everywhere, to the earth, to the animals, throughout the universe. Together. Peace. Amen.
This is called The Light Inside from my album Heartbeats 1.
Someone once said that there isn't a greater pressure situation than to be in the finals in the Olympics next to a threat to somebody's life, an event like that. Now, you and I may not be in the finals in the Olympics, but we sure are enjoying watching these people who are, right? If you're watching any of the Olympics, it's amazing what they're able to do under such intense pressure. Can you imagine spending their whole lives training for this, and now it comes down to 1 minute or a couple of minutes or less? It's amazing. Now, you and I don't have those kinds of pressure situations, perhaps, but we might have, and we probably do. We have some kind of difficult conversation we've got to have with someone. Maybe a job interview. Maybe we're calling on a customer. Got to give a sales presentation or meet with the boss. There's a variety of things that can be a high pressure situation. And we want to be confident under pressure, like these Olympic athletes, right? They get out there and they are ready to go. They are confident. And we want to be in as great a state as we can. Or at least, they have learned how to manage being under pressure. And so I want to talk to you today about what we can do to have confidence under pressure. Pressure is an interesting thing. And the first way to deal with pressure is to interpret it as a good thing. Interpret pressure as a good thing. There's some anxiousness that comes with pressure, and it's important to recognize that's okay. In fact, it is a good thing. It can be a good thing. It can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing, depending on how we interpret it and how we use it. I imagine you've had a situation where you were under a lot of pressure and you handled it well. And if you're like most people, you've probably been in a high pressure situation and you didn't handle it so well. So how do we more consistently handle those high pressure situations in a good way? I remember a young lady when I was taking a speech course in college, and I think it was like sophomore year or something. It was Public Speaking 101. And this one girl, her mind went completely blank in the speech. She completely forgot what she was talking about. And of course, we all felt for her. But what was amazing to watch, and that was because it was a high pressure, for her, it was a high pressure situation. And she was just learning how to public speak. And can you think of a worse thing to happen in a speech, to forget exactly what you're about to say? Well, she did. The good news is, as she practiced what she was doing, she got better and better and better and actually became quite good at public speaking as time went on. And when I took a year-long stand-up comedy class many years ago, and the same thing happened to one of the guys in our class. He got out on a stage here in New York City, one of the stages. We were all there, and he totally forgot his jokes. It's funny now, but it wasn't so funny then. But he became one of the best stand-up comedians in our whole class. What is the point? The point is that nervousness, when it's harnessed, can become very powerful. These two people really cared about what they were doing. That's why they felt nervous. That's why they were all too much nervousness. They didn't know how to handle the pressure. But when they did learn, it fueled their performance. And that's what the best do. The best learn how to manage the anxiety and the fear and the excitement. So the first step is to realize there's nothing wrong with feeling that energy, that anxiety, whatever you want to call it, that excitement. It's all together. It's excitement, it's fear, and that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. It's a mistake to think that you should just be totally calm under these situations. You should, and as a spiritual aspirant, we want to be calm, we want to be joyful, but let's face it, there are certain situations where your humanness is going to create some anxiety and some excitement involved in it, depending on what the situation is. So don't interpret that as bad. That's the thing. Learn to interpret it as good. It's a good sign. You're going into an interview, you feel this excitement, you feel some fear. That's a good sign. Don't interpret it as, oh, I'm not ready, or oh, maybe I'm not qualified for this job because I feel this nervousness and this excitement. It's a combination. Pressure is a combination of those two things, fear, anxiety, and excitement, your level of excitement. So don't interpret it as bad, because there are people and there are psychologists who have taught, sports psychologists, which, by the way, I've been studying for 30 years, by the way, and applying it to being a competitive golfer. Some of the psychologists have taught you just want to be calm, that feeling, this excitement and anxiousness is undesirable. That's not what the best say. The best don't say that. The best use that anxiety, that excitement. In fact, one of the important tips, research has shown that when people interpret that anxiousness as excitement, it changes how they perform in a positive way. So when you got a job interview, when you're going to call on an important customer, when you've got a difficult conversation, whatever the pressure situation might be, maybe it's a life or death thing. You're a police officer, or you're in the military, or some other thing. Whatever it is, don't interpret it. Interpret that feeling as excitement, that you feel excited, and that you're going to use this energy to fuel your performance. The elite athletes, like these Olympic people, elite athletes, elite performers, when they feel this energy and they know it's desirable, guess what happens? When they've got it under control, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, then their senses are enhanced. They see better, they hear better, they think better, they perform better. It gives them more endurance, it gives them more strength. In fact, some of them say they can't even perform at such a high level without that energy. The great, perhaps arguably the greatest golfer ever lived, Jack Nicklaus, he said his best scores were when he was feeling that energy. See, they've learned to use it. It's not because, oh, look at them, they're so great, they're just born with this ability to perform at such high levels. They learn that. They learn it. And you can learn it. I can learn it. I have learned it in many different ways, applied it. So look at whatever you're feeling as excitement. Interpret it that way. Interpret it as excitement. You're being conscious about this. Remember, you're a spiritual being. You're in that body. You're in that mind. You're not your emotions. You have emotions. So when you say, oh, I'm afraid, you're experiencing anxiety, you're experiencing fear, but that's not you, okay? So interpret it as excitement. Excitement. And then, and let it fuel your experience. Think of it as you're going to use this energy. See, the very fear of the energy can interfere with your performance under pressure. If you start going, oh no, I'm anxious, that can't be good. Oh, I shouldn't feel anxious. I'm a spiritual being. Or, oh, I shouldn't feel anxious because look at the best. They look so calm and poised. They're not. Most of them they've got that energy going. They're keyed up, put it that way. I don't care how good they are. They've got that heart pumping and that energy flowing. Depends on what the sport is. But, all sports have different energy levels. If you're a boxer, you want high excitement. If you're a gymnast, I don't know what their excitement level will be. Medium excitement. It all depends. If you're shooting a rifle in the Olympics, you got to be nearly in a coma. You want that level of excitement. You see, so it all depends on what you're doing and what you need, how you need to use that energy. But you're the one in there, you're the one in charge. So interpret it in a positive way and let it fuel your performance. So don't interpret it as negative. Think of it as positive. I feel good about this event. I feel good about this interview. I feel good about this, whatever it might be. I'm excited about it. That's what I'm feeling. The next thing to do is to focus on the result you want to get, not on what you're afraid might happen. Okay? In the Olympics, they're not thinking about, ideally, they're not thinking about what's going to go wrong. They've been preparing what they need to do for years. And they've been visualizing the result that they want for years. So in the heat of battle, so to speak, they're focusing on what they're going to do. They're not thinking about what could go wrong. I mean, at least not the ones who are performing at their best. They're focused on what they're going to do. When you go into that sale, when you about to give that speech, you want to keep your mind on what you're going to do well. After all, you've prepared, and that's part of being ready for pressure, is preparation. You've got to be prepared. You've got to have done your work behind the scenes. You know, Jesus talked about the Father works in secret. Well, anybody who's good at anything has been working in secret. Right? They've been behind the scenes doing their work. These Olympic athletes have been training 5 hours plus a day. I was watching an interview of Michael Phelps, who's won more gold medals than anyone in history of the Olympics. He trained 3 to 5 hours a day plus 2 hours in the gym every day for years. So you got to train. You want to overtrain, in fact. You want to overtrain. You want to really be ready for that interview. You really want to be ready for that conversation. You want to be ready for whatever it is that you need to do to be prepared. That's part of it. So you overtrain, and then you go into the situation with your mind on the result that you want. With your mind on, I'm going to be clear, I'm going to be focused, I'm going to be listening to that customer, I'm going to be ready to meet their needs. Whatever you need to do, the performance is what you want to focus on. Not the result. Not the result. Focusing on the result can make you nervous. Focusing on what you're doing wrong can cause you to get overly excited. You don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on doing what you need to do to perform well, not on the outcome. See, it's thoughts like, oh, but I really need this job. I've got to ace this interview. When you start thinking about that, oh, I really have to make this sale. This is so important, this sale, or this difficult conversation is critical. If this doesn't go well, then, you know, it's going to really be bad. No, those kinds of thoughts should have been done previously when you were getting ready, when you were preparing. Maybe that could help you prepare. But when you're in the heat of things and it's time to perform, your mind needs to be off of those anxiety-producing thoughts. Forget about the results. Focus on what you need to do. You know, Jesus told his disciples, they were asking him, you know, what do we say if we're brought in front of judges, or we need to explain things or defend ourselves or whatever? He said, don't worry about what you need to say until you're there. The Holy Spirit will let you know what you need to say. In other words, don't do a lot of worrying. You're going to be ready. The Spirit's going to speak through you. In fact, that's a good thing to remember if you're a public speaker, actually, or in everything that you do, is that you are letting God express through you. Jesus said, of myself I do nothing. It's the Father within me that does the work. Isn't that what he said? And that's a great attitude. That takes off a lot of pressure. That doesn't mean you don't prepare. That doesn't mean you haven't put in 5 hours a day preparing if you're an Olympian, but you're doing it with the sense that you're not just doing it by yourself. Spirit is doing this through you. Spirit is working through you. I remember as a college freshman, I took the study skills course, and so one of the things I would do, I'd go in an empty classroom and I'd put my desk up against the wall so that my attention was just focused on what I was doing. And at one point I thought, how does having faith in God, how's that going to help me get an A on an exam? How does that work? And the conclusion I came up with, and still believe today, is you still got to study. You still got to study hard. You still got to be strategic. But you're trusting that God is working through the whole process. That God is guiding you to what to study. God is guiding you. God is giving you the strength, the motivation, the willpower, the discipline, whatever it takes. The same with being an Olympic athlete. They can't just say, oh, God is going to do it through. No, they still got to put in those 5 hours a day, and you got to concentrate on it. You got to put everything into it. Trusting that Spirit is doing it through you, that Spirit is guiding you, Spirit's directing you, and Spirit's part of the whole process. So that's a wonderful way to also help. That's probably the greatest thing, to help reduce that, help give you confidence under pressure, because that's what we're talking about. So be prepared, and then when you're in it, don't think about the outcome. Just focus on the performing well. Watch out for those thoughts. And if you have them, just watch them float through, because you're not your thoughts. Watch them float through. Say, next. You know, when you start thinking, oh, God, I need this job. Next, and focus on the interview, for example. And that's how you can use this energy that's working in you and through you. That's how you use the energy to boost your performance. Now, you want a level of excitement that matches what you have to do. Okay? So if you're a boxer, that's a high energy, high adrenaline sport. If you're a football player, you want all that energy, that adrenaline makes you stronger, gives you greater endurance. But if you're in archery, you don't need all that. In fact, that'll interfere with your performance. Rifle and archery, you know, I think in rifle shooting, they're shooting in between heartbeats, in between breaths. That's how calm they've got to be. Golf, same way. You don't want a lot of adrenaline. And it's odd for me because I'm pretty calm naturally, but I did better in those high adrenaline sports than I did in golf until I started to learn how to manage my energy. So if you are about to give a speech or you're going to an interview or whatever it might be, and you get so excited, remember we're interpreting it as excitement. We're interpreting it as that anxiety, as excitement. If you get way too excited and you forget what you have to say, or you're just, you know, it's just not the energy you need to perform your best. If you're a putter and you got a 4-foot putt to win a major championship, you don't want to be, you know, I'm so excited about this putt, you know, this is going in. That ain't gonna work. You got to be calm. So you want to match, you want to find the right energy. And now how do you do that? Let's say you're so excited that you're not performing well. What do you do? Well, there's probably a lot of things you can do. But one that is very effective, and it's very simple, is to learn a breathing technique that will help bring your energy level calmer. Okay? Again, we're not saying it's bad. No, it's all energy. Nothing's good. Shakespeare said nothing's good or bad. Only thinking makes it so. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of excitement, but it may be too much for what it is you're trying to do. If it is, take some long, deep breaths. Take some long, deep breaths. It might be that your mind's focusing on the negative or it's focusing on outcome, and you need to get your mind off of that. What can you do? You got to do something that is simple and that you can control. Take some deep breaths. Take some deep breaths. Now, there are techniques that are taught that you can learn, but that's the essence. Take some deep breaths, and guess what? You'll feel yourself becoming calmer. I'm telling you, it's super powerful. I remember when in tournaments, golf, where I would frequently hit a poor first shot. You know, the very beginning of the tournament, hole number 1, the first shot, I'd hit a terrible shot. Why? Because I was overly excited. I was too excited. I was putting too much importance on that first shot. I learned how to breathe. I learned how to get myself calm. Calmer. Still keyed up enough to use it for good, but calmer so that it wasn't too much. See? Take some deep breaths. Focus on relaxing part of your body if you need to, your shoulders or your neck. And that takes your mind off of the negative thoughts and puts you into something you can control. Your breathing, your body, and then visualize a positive performance. See a positive outcome. In fact, some people start to sweat thinking about the upcoming speech they got to give, right? They start thinking, oh my God, I got that speech to give. Right then, take a moment, take some deep breaths, see yourself performing well, see the audience receiving what you have to say well, see yourself feeling confident and doing what you need to do. You can apply that power of your mental imagery to everything. And that will program you so that you will be confident under pressure. Every time you think about that thing, see a positive outcome. See a positive outcome. And here's another tip. The more you do something, you'll overcome the fear of it. The more you do it, you'll overcome the fear of it. Or you'll make great progress in it. Like that girl who forgot everything she had to say in the speech. Well, she didn't drop out of class. She had to keep giving speeches. And guess what? She kept putting herself in that fearful situation that we're calling excitement. She kept doing it, and she got better at it. And that's the same for whatever the pressure situation is that you might face. Sure, there are going to be things that we can't plan, that we're thrown into. That's where you go, okay, Spirit, use me. Here I am. I'm your instrument. Thank you for guiding me and directing me. But if it's an ongoing thing where you're looking for a job and you got to keep going to interviews, or you're a salesperson, you're new to sales, and you're just learning how to, you just have to keep doing it. Keep calling on customers, and you will start to develop confidence. In golf, keep playing in tournaments, and you will develop confidence. Now I don't even worry about that first shot. It's just, if I miss it, if it's not a great shot, so what? Go find it and hit another one. That's all it is. You, by experience, you learn to overcome those fears. So no matter what the situation is, you can be confident under pressure. When one, you interpret that pressure, those feelings that go with it, the anxiousness, the excitement, interpret it in a positive way so that you can use that energy to fuel your performance. Do lots of what it is that causes you pressure. The more often you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The less it's going to affect you. You'll be more confident the more you do it. Over-prepare. Be as prepared as you can be for that situation so that subconsciously you know you've got this. You've got the information, you've got the skills, and Focus on performing well, not on the outcome. Don't think about what this means, why it's so important. No, focus on a good performance and trust that God, Spirit, your subconscious, however you want to look at this, is going to help you perform at your best. And look at it all as a learning experience. Even if you make mistakes, it's a learning experience. If these athletes, the people in the Olympics, if they don't win a medal, it's still a learning experience they can use. I know that's probably not very comforting right after they, that's certainly not what you tell them right after they didn't make the podium, but it is a learning experience. Everything can be a learning experience. And the person who's the real winner, the person who learns the most through the experience, and they can use it for their next thing. So lastly, remember, separate your value and worth from your performance. That's key to performing well under pressure. For people who have made their performance their worth, their value, that is a whole lot of pressure. That's too much pressure. Because now how I perform determines whether I feel good about myself as a person. That is not where we want to be. I have a friend, Tim Galway. He's the author of the Inner Game series, Inner Game of Tennis, Inner Game of Golf, Inner Game of Work, Inner Game of Stress. He has told a story about a Hall of Fame, well, she wasn't a Hall of Fame yet, a woman golfer, tour player, who came to him because she needed about 2 more tournaments, to win 2 more tournaments to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And she said that when she's in contention on the last few holes, her hands start to tremble and she loses feel in her hands, and it affects her putting. Well, so Tim asked her some questions. He said, what's the goal of golf? She said it's to get the ball in the hole in as few strokes as possible. Okay, why do you play golf? I play golf because I love the environment. I love expressing my God-given potential and gifts, and I like the competition. And Tim was carefully watching her hands, and he said, well, your hands aren't trembling right now. Yeah, you're right, they're not. Why else do you play golf? I mean, what are the other reasons? She said, well, it's because of golf. I owe golf something, because it's because of golf that now I was a nobody and now I'm a somebody. Are there any other reasons? Yeah, my fans, I don't want to let my fans down, so I want to be in contention every week for them. How are your hands doing now? Trembling. Trembling. You see what happened? It was the meaning she was giving to what she was doing. It was her purpose. When she was on target with her purpose, I love the outer environment, I like expressing my God-given abilities, I like the competition, her hands were calm. But when she started thinking about, golf has made me somebody, whoa. Now her worth and her identity were caught up in her performance. When her golf career is over, which eventually it was, who is she then? Is she now a nobody? Too much pressure, see. She needed to learn that her value was independent of her golf game, of whether she made the Hall of Fame or didn't make the Hall of Fame. And then, so she had to accept that. And then the other thing was she was putting a lot of pressure on herself because of the expectations of others. You see, the reason she played golf had nothing to do with the expectations of others. That came later. And that put a lot of pressure on her to the point where she wasn't enjoying herself. Well, that simple awareness helped her start to gain control under pressure. Not the next tournament, the tournament after that, she won that tournament. And recently with this Olympics and with Naomi Osaka and with Simone Biles, wow, can you imagine the pressure of performing? In fact, the champions say that the more chances you have to win, the greater the pressure. The greater the pressure. And something, kudos to Simone and to Naomi for recognizing that their mind, they needed to reassess where they were, that they weren't centered. And it's understandable, right? With the expectations of fans, with the expectations of the sport, with their own personal expectations, with how they were thinking about themselves and all of that. It's understandable why they felt they needed to take a break, and good for them for having the self-esteem and the wisdom to do that, because there have been other gymnasts who didn't do that. And I've read about a couple of them who were seriously injured because they went through with it even though they were not centered within themselves. So you see, this whole thing of recognizing your value is independent of your performance. You're somebody now. It's not based on what you do. It's based on you're a child of God. You're alive. You're as much alive as everyone else. That's your value. You're here. You're here like everyone else. You're a human being just like everyone else. You have innate value, innate worth. And that's important to recognize. That if you don't succeed, that's okay. It doesn't make you less of a person. It means you can learn from the experience, you can grow from the experience, you can grow in your character, you can grow in your skills, and do better next time. That's all. Or attempt to do better next time. You see, it's not who you are. Who you are is a person. Who you are is a spiritual being. Don't listen to the world. St. Paul said, don't conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Another interpretation is, don't let the world squeeze you into its mold, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. In other words, don't buy into what the world says about somebody important as someone who wins the gold medal. Everybody's important. Everybody's important because everybody is a human being. See, that's separating your worth from what you have to do. And good for Simone. She got herself balanced again and went out there and performed and was back on track. She got the pressure handled. And you can do the same. You can learn, just like these Olympic athletes, whatever the challenge you have, whatever it might be, with a few tweaks of what we talked about today, you can have confidence under pressure. Let's get still. And we thank you, Father, Mother God, for your guidance and direction today. And let us see ourselves going forward now. Whatever challenge we might face, whatever high pressure situation, it might be something that we love doing, even love doing. And there's so many people who they get in pressure doing what they love that they don't even enjoy it. But we see ourselves going forward now with confidence, learning and growing and enjoying enjoying the experience, enjoying the opportunity, living in a state of gratitude. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for this opportunity. Thank you that I'm alive. Thank you that I even have this chance. Thank you for the excitement. This is fun. This is how we can perform with confidence under pressure. Thank you, Spirit, for your guidance and direction in all things and in all ways. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for being with us today for this live stream service. And I also want to thank our musicians, Peter Mayer and Johanna Beekman, for being with us today. And would you please join me in the prayer for protection? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thanks for joining me today, joining us, the Unity Center. I'm Justin Epstein, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.